All right, it looks like I am live. All right, so excited to be here today with you all. Working on, okay, didn't realize that was there. All right, so I'm working with some of these lessons, learn from these queens. Oh, I forgot. Hold on, let me get TikTok on here. So this is Tammy Morrison. For those of you that are just scrolling and don't know me, I am working with these lessons that I learned from these queens. So on TikTok, thank you for joining me. Thank you as you come through, tap the screen. Don't come in here with no foolishness because you will be blocked. So anyway, that out of the way, housekeeping, I wanted to just say that I am so grateful to be here today and super excited. This is my normal Tuesday healing chats. And right now I am talking about the lessons learned from these queens. And so one of the lessons that I learned from the queens was that you can use your influence. Hey, how you doing? It's so good to see you. Use your influence to make a positive change in the world. And so the thing about it is, if you think about it, they said one of the central themes of Queen Charlotte movie was that the series explored was racism. And so Charlotte was selected to marry George for the Great Experiment, which was a shallow attempt for the monarchy and the government to unite the Ton, which is AKA the high society, regardless of one's color and ethnicity. One of the scenes that stuck out in my mind was the scene where Lady Danbury told Queen Charlotte that her palace walls were too high. And so what that seemed to do for the queen was it helped her to bring her back to reality and realize that she was a queen, but she had a duty to her people. And so the things that Lady Danbury said to her was, "You're the first of your kind. That opened doors. So we are new. Do you not see us? What are you meant to do for us?" And she went on to give her some advice that she needed because, she was a younger girl. And so she needed somebody in her corner to help her. And that was another lesson that I learned from these queens, because not only was that like that for Queen Charlotte, but it also was like that for Njinga. They all had trusted people that they could talk to. In today's world, they would call them trusted advisors. I'm talking about lessons learned from these queen stories that I've been watching. I watched Queen Charlotte of Bridgerton. I watched Cleopatra. I watched Njinga. And there were so many lessons that united all of those things. Okay, so here we go. Okay, done with that. Okay, you got to go. Thank you. One blocked. The first of your kind. She told her, "Hey, you are representative, basically. This is why you're here. You are representative, and you are supposed to help your people." And so that is one of the lessons that I learned from that particular Queen show. And the thing about it is, all the Queen shows actually had the same type of thing going through them, theme, that they're supposed to help their people, and they were really trying to help their people. But all of these queens. The other thing that I learned from the Queen Charlotte was that she was worthy, of someone that'll stand with them, And so as many times, and I've talked about this before in the other videos, that they had King George, and it's like they tried to keep Queen Charlotte away from him. They tried to take her, out of his path because, they knew how crazy he was, number one. Number two, nobody realized who she was in his life, and she realized that she was the calm and she was the peace for him. She was the person that was going to help him navigate through all of those things that, they tried to do. Nobody really trusted him anyway. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Angie. Thank you for watching. Nobody really appreciated the fact that she was queen, and nobody really gave her the respect that she deserved until she took it. And that was another lesson that I learned from these queen stories. When she decided to take, yep, that's right. It's all good. You know what? People are crazy all over, and that's why we have that block button, and it's all good. But when you think about those stories, we can always equate that to our lives too. Once we realize who we are and we realize the queendom in us, or the king in us, once we realize that we are royalty, and we realize that we were created in the image of God, and so we would have to be royalty. We would have to be. But a lot of times we don't recognize that. And so these queens had to recognize that and realize who they were, even though some of them were born in that space. Like Queen Njenga's father was the king or whatever. And so then when she decided to take over, she was already born into that legacy. So she already knew who she was. And this was the same thing with Queen Charlotte. She knew that she had a legacy, and she was supposed to be somebody that was special. She knew this. She knew this because she was a princess already from birth. And so when the queenship came to her, she was able to navigate that thing. It took her a little while in order to, be able to go through these life lessons, because to be honest with you, I loved it because I felt like at 17 years old, I don't know if I could have navigated in that way, but she navigated and she was like, oh my God. And so another thing that I loved in Queen Charlotte was that she realized that love is a choice. It's a determination, and it's a choice that you make. You don't have to love, but loving is going to help your life. And especially because she realized that, when you are married, that you're supposed to love the person. She realized it wasn't, going to be a walk in the park, especially with this nutty queen king that she had. But he had a pure heart that she saw. And so she could attach to that, and then she could help him to navigate all of the things that he needed to navigate, because he had this fear, looked like a public speaking and all of this type of stuff. And so I'm just super, super grateful and super excited just to be able to, talk about these things, because, a lot of times we don't realize, how things happen for us in our life, and we don't realize who we are until we're tested. A lot of times, there are times when you all of a sudden it just comes up and springs up in you, and you realize, what, I'm a goddess. You realize that I am special. There is something good and wonderful about me. But many times it takes tragedy, it takes all kinds of distress in order for us to get to that place where we can see who we are. And instead of realizing that, what, I'm here, I am this particular person. And so one of the things that I like to do with people, especially as a spiritual mentor, is help people to step into their gifts and to actually step into their power, and to open up and activate their solar plexus so that they can step into their power, so that you can realize that, you are special. You were born and designed and put on this planet to do something special. Now, what that is going to be on you. And then the other part is, it would take you taking inventory of your life and deciding, who it is that you are going to be, because we all decide who we're going to be. We all manifest, oh my God, every day. We manifest every single day. So it's not like, we're sitting around here and we're not manifesting. We are. We manifest every day. It's just, are we consciously manifesting, or are we just manifesting? That's the point. The thing is for me, I prefer to consciously manifest if at all possible. I prefer to set out my intentions and, share it with God's source universe and say, hey, this is what I want, and expect it to show up. Because, one of the things that I love about metaphysics, which, I'm going a little bit to the left, but it's still kind of the same relevancy. But one of the things I love about the metaphysics is that it actually shows you your potential. It shows you your potential, because as you study that stuff, it's almost like you can't help not to begin to come up in yourself, and begin to really see yourself for who you are, and not, who you play on TikTok or who you play on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you play at. You begin to really step into all that you are, and really move to the place where, you know, you can be who you have been called to be, who you saw yourself. Because many times, especially as we're kids, we see ourselves and we see who it is that we want to become. We might see some people and say, hey, that's what I want to do. We might look at Michael Jackson and say, I want to be like that, or we can look at, what's the one he used to do the song, Michael Jordan, and say, I want to be like that. I want to be like Mike, but the thing is you might want to be like Mike, but you'll be the first, whoever you are. I tell people, I said, they say, oh, well, you want to be the next Oprah? I said, no, I want to be the first Tammy. You know what I mean? And that might be something that you're considering and thinking about as well. Who am I? Because that is one of the things that I love to work with people to determine. Because a lot of times, especially women, especially us women in our middle years, we have to determine and discover a lot of times who we are, because most of us give ourselves away to everybody else in our life. We give ourselves away to our kids. We give ourselves away to our husbands or our spouses or our partners, or, whatever you want to call him, her, or them. But you give yourself away. And we do that. And it's just a natural thing, I believe, for women to do that, because we just put everybody else first before ourselves. And you know what? That can be cool. That can be cool. You know what I mean? That can be cool for a minute. And then after a while, it gets to the place where it's not cool anymore. It's not cool anymore. You want to know, what is it that you like, because there are many times that, oh, thank you for the stars, Jennifer. Okay, I got to reach out to you. So you want to get to the place where you're like, okay, I don't know, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Because a lot of times, especially we get to our middle years, we're like, okay, we've been working, especially my generation, because I'm in the middle years, and we've been working for years and years and years. And it may have not been something that we wanted to do. It may have been something that we had to do. You know what I mean? Something that worked for us, at the time. Like I worked and worked because I had these children to raise. And my ex-husband was sometimes not participatory. Let's use it like that. Let's say that. And so as we started moving and shaking, in the world, and as I started moving and shaking, I was like, okay, I got to do what needs to be done. I have to take care of these kids, and I wasn't a person that liked to ask people for anything. I'm not that person. And so I just worked and did the things that I needed to do. And so once you get to those middle years and you start looking back, because now that my children are all grown, my youngest will be 32 next week. And so I'm, I don't have that day-to-day responsibility, then of course it frees up so much time and stuff for us too. And then it frees up so much even in your mind, even though, I have to say, even when your children grow up, they still on your heart. You know what I mean? Because they're, you know, they're big and stuff, but like I tell my husband, they still my kids, regardless of how old they are. I'm always gonna be their mama, and they still my kids, and I still am concerned about them. I don't worry. I try not to worry about anything. That's just not a word I try to use, but concern, because they cut them out of me. That's what I always tell people. Like, they cut those kids out of me. So I think I don't know about you people that were able to squeeze them out, because I was not able to do that with either one of my children. So, I feel a special relationship behind that, because not only did they cut them out of me, but I did go through 25 and 27 hours of labor respectively with both of them before they cut them out of me. So I feel like I did double duty, because I labored and then they cut them out. So I didn't even get to experience that part, which I'm okay with. It's all right. At first when I was young, I had my first baby as I think I was 21. Yes, 21 when I had my first baby. And so I was young and dumb. So I just didn't know that wasn't a bad thing. However, yeah, as you move along in your life, you realize, oh my God, that was trauma. That was trauma. I don't know what they want me to do about this thing, y'all. It's like they're telling me something about a keyframe this rate this low too low on Facebook. I don't know. I don't ever understand what they're talking about, or what the hell it is I can do about it. I think that's probably the next thing. It's like, well, what do you want me to do? It's like when your internet is unstable. Okay, I can't do anything about that because I don't work for Xfinity. And I can't fix an unstable internet. I can't do it. I wish I could. It would be really nice. I probably could make a whole lot of money. but yeah, so anyway, man, I don't even know what I was talking about. I was talking about being who you are and being open to it. And so a part of that for me too is considering like spirituality and the gifts that have shown up for me and many of you. Because as you start opening up, and as you start being open to receive, is what I say. And so that is one thing that I do and say every single day when I get up in the morning and before I go to bed at night, because sometimes you receive information in the night in your dreams. And so I say, I am open to receive. And I say that every single day, at least twice a day, usually more, but especially in the morning when I get up, at night before I go to bed. And I usually say that, especially when I'm working out, because I started working out. And I don't know if you've been at a place where you were not working out for a while and then you started back working out, and it can be a whole ass thing. It can be a whole thing. Just, starting to get your body moving, because getting your body moving, of course, is one of those things that we need to definitely continue to keep doing, especially as we age. So many people sit down as they get older and, don't move and all that stuff, but it's not time for that. You know what I mean? These days, I seen a 70-some-year-old woman working out at the gym looking cut. I went to tour the gym. I didn't even go to sign up. I just went to tour it to see if it was worth me doing, because I know me and I'm just not consistent enough to go to the gym. I mean, I'll work out in my house, but sometimes I just don't feel like going anywhere. If I don't have to go anywhere, some days I don't go anywhere. It's like I had to go out today and I went out. I need to run back out too after I get off this live. But yeah, so I I completely, totally forgot my train of thought, but it's okay because that actually happens. I am recovering from long COVID, so I had all of that short-term memory loss type of thing going on, but it's getting better. Over the time, it's been getting better. I have had, been running energy through it and Reiki. I've been having some beautiful friends that have run some Reiki on me. And I don't know if y'all are believers of energy, but energy healing rocks. Reiki energy is amazing. Not only Reiki, you have Kundalini Reiki and quantum Reiki, and there's crystal light healing, and there's so many different energy healing, sacred soul alignments, all kinds of things. And so, I practice a few of those as well. And so I run energy through myself. But as we all know, you need to put your oxygen mask on before you can help anybody else. You know what I mean? And the other part to that is, if you are a massage therapist or an acupuncturist or anybody that does any kind of body work or anything, really anybody that does anything, you want somebody else to You want somebody else to work on you, because you can't give your own massages. You can't poke the needles in your own self. You know what I mean? So you want somebody else to work with you and be open to that. And so I had a friend that told me, she said, you need to let somebody help you. And I thought, wow, because I didn't think, how we really just don't think we need it, even though we know we do, but something inside of us, especially if this is the same work that we do, it's like, oh God, no, I can do that myself and this and that. But you know what? It's harder to work with yourself and to work with people that you know well, because a lot of times it clouds, what you feel and what you know and all that, or what clouds what you can do or what you see, and it's one of those things that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm super excited to just come on here and have this little talk. Jennifer, I don't know what that is. Jennifer, I don't know what that is. So anyway, thank y'all for hanging out with me today and joining me. I have all kinds of things happening. I'm not playing no games today or nothing. I just wanted to come on here and have a chat with some people, and if that's all right. But I'm just super excited just to be coming through, and providing some value and sharing some things about these lessons that I learned from these queens, because it kind of lit me up just to be able to see, how they navigated society and how because they were amazing. And Queen Cleopatra and Queen Nzinga were ruthless. I mean, they got the job done. And so I was like, oh my God, I was just really um, excited when I watched, how they navigated, their royalness, their royalty, because both of them, they had this royalty and it was within them and they were born into it. And so, just watching that, and then watching how Queen Charlotte navigated that situation, because, they tried so hard to keep that child away from her husband, which I could never figure out. I was like, what is that about? And then it hit me, if she was with him, then they were a power couple, because he needed her. He needed her energy, he needed her spirit. And that happens so many times in relationships. And I'm super grateful and excited because I have that same type of energy with my husband. I know that I need him and he knows he needs me. And so it's a cooperation, and it's an unconditional love type of situation. You know what I mean? And so it's like, when you have that type of relationship with somebody, oh my God, it's just amazing what you can do and what you can accomplish. So y'all, I'm about to celebrate my 7th wedding anniversary with my soulmate, and I'm so super excited about it, y'all. Of course, I'm photo bombing the hell out of y'all, so y'all will get tired of seeing our pictures, but but it's what we do. We've done it for the last 7 years. We've done it. And so I'm just super excited and super grateful, that, God sent me this man who loves me like Christ loved the church. And that was actually one of the things that I said when I wrote down the things that I decided that I wanted in a partner. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for that gift. I when I sat down and I wrote down what I wanted in a partner, because that's what I did. So if you are at a place where you are saying, what do I want in a partner, in your husband or your wife or, whatever, and you're at this place, write down what you want. And that was one of the things I said. I said, I know he does. Jesus is my dude. I said that I want a man who loves God. That was what I said. I said, I want a man who loves God, and I want a man who loves me like Christ loves the church. Because you know what that scripture is? Like Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. So I asked for that. Those were a couple of the things that I wrote down in what I asked God for in a mate. Because I said, I'm ready to get married again. I had already been divorced for a while. Yeah, probably about 7 or 8 years or something. I don't remember now. but I had been divorced for a while. And so I was like, I'm ready for, a husband. And so I started writing down what I wanted. That's all I knew to do. Wrote down what I wanted. And actually, when I prayed, I would put that in there. I said, this is what I want. Because here's my thing about that. I said that if he loved God, then God would love him. I mean, that's not how I said it. If he loved God, then God would show him how to love me. Because that was what I felt like I didn't get in my first marriage. I felt like I didn't get love. I felt like he didn't really love me, even though, on a level he probably did. And he said he did sometimes, but, he wasn't very truthful all the time anyway. So I was like, I don't feel like, I was loved. And so that was one of the things I asked for. I said, I want to be loved. I want to be somebody's first choice. I want to be, loved in the way that I need to be loved. And so what happens to me is that, when I put it out there like that, and I told God that, I was like, this is what I want. And then when he showed up, then I recognized him and I knew who he was. See, and that actually is another part of that. I recognized him when he showed up. I recognized that it was him, because he was what I asked God for in terms of, and to be honest, y'all, I didn't even ask for like superficial things. I was asking for deep things like, what I wanted in my heart. And I know a lot of times people ask for, superficial things like money, and then those are important. That's important. Don't get me wrong. I didn't ask for I didn't ask for a broke man. I wasn't that, but I did ask for, character, certain things in the character, and love was to me, love is the principal thing. And to me, that's what I wanted. That's worth all the money in the world. Some love, you know? And I asked for those things that Steve Harvey had in his book: provider, protector. I don't remember the other P, but priority. But I asked for those things when I was asking for a mate. I was like, you know what? This is what I want. And I to be honest, I had decided, after I got divorced, I had decided I wasn't settling. So I felt like if I didn't get what I desired and what I wanted, then I wasn't going to have nothing, because I wasn't, I wasn't going to be anybody's second place. I wasn't going to be anybody's afterthought, none of that shit. So I decided that, this is what I have to have. And so this is how it's going to be, and the thing is you ask for what you want. People a lot of times refuse to ask for what they want. Ask for what you want. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I could quote the Bible: you have not because you ask not. And then there's that other one: ask, seek, and knock. You're not asking, you're not seeking, you're not knocking. Then how you expect doors to be open for you? So those are just a few things that kind of happen with that. And, just being obedient to, what the Spirit tells you, shares with you, shows you, that is it's a whole nother live. So I am going to pop off here because I have some other things I need to get done in this day, and this day is almost over. I got to go buy a notebook, y'all, because I was guided to buy a notebook by this beautiful young lady that did a TikTok. So she suggested we buy a fresh notebook and also a green pen. So I am going over to the Dollar Tree to get those things so that I can start writing in my journal. So anywho, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will definitely be back on tomorrow. I'm trying to figure out a time and a space that I can come on and, give some intuitive guidance, because that is really what I love to do. Give some intuitive guidance, some channel messages, all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to figure out a time that works for me that I can come in for a couple of hours and do that. So if you are looking for that, though, make sure that you hit me up. I have a few things going. I also have this amazing book project that I'm doing that is honoring our grandmothers, and it's called Passing the Pearls. So if you have a grandmother that you love like mine, And I don't know if you've seen me before. You know how I talk about my grandmother. She was the most amazing person in my world. She was my world. And so I'm writing this story about her, and I'm inviting people to come and join me if they have a wonderful grandmother stories as well. So reach out to me, send me a DM if that's something that you are interested in. And then I'm also doing spiritual mentorship. So if that is something that you're interested in, I have that already. I have a program that I'm going to do. I'm trying to decide I think we're going to start it off for 6 weeks, and then I may set it up where you can come in monthly. I'm trying to figure out how to do that and work it out. And so I'm going to work it out, and then I'll let you know. But if that's something that you're looking for, especially if you are, at this place where you're learning who you are and your spiritual gifts and how you can use that. And then if you are coming from religion into metaphysics or spirituality, that is my jam because I was there years ago. I was raised Pentecostal holiness, and so I know about all of that. And so if that is something that you could use some assistance with, I am your girl. So I'm doing that as well. Also, I have all kinds of different things on my website, and I actually will drop that. I think it's on my link tree. I was gonna say it's on my link tree, so you can go in the bio in the link tree and look at my website because I have all sorts of things on there. I'm actually putting some more resources on there, some meditations that you can grab, and also some master classes that will be on there as well that you can grab for a reasonable price. So definitely check that out. And also, if y'all are not following me on YouTube, please go follow me on YouTube because I am uploading all kinds of new videos because my show Straight Outta Savannah is housed there as well as on Spotify. So if you are looking for a podcast to listen to, because I know a lot of people love those podcasts, and I have one that's amazing. Matter of fact, I did an amazing recording today that was beautiful. A lovely young lady that I talked to, Kenna Ray Thomas, and she is bad to the bone as far as a miracle producer. So make sure that you are following me and you check that out. I think you can get to that also on my link tree. I have a link to the podcast. And if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you are wanting to come on my show, because that is who I am interviewing at this time. So if you're a spiritual entrepreneur and you want to come on my show and get you some exposure, make sure that you go to the link in my bio and you'll see sign up for the podcast or something like that in there. You'll see it in there. Podcast sign up link or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but you'll see it in the link tree. So make sure that you do that, sign up. And if you sign up, make sure that you put your bio and your links and your picture, just like I asked for, in the scheduler, because that makes it easy for all of us. So I don't have to be trying to chase you down to get it. And you don't have to worry about it not being in your show notes because I will not chase anybody down because that is the reason why I put that in there. So it's easy for everyone involved because I'm the one that's doing all the stuff. So I have to make it easy, for myself. So I don't have to be running you down and trying to catch up to you to get your bio and all these things. So anyway, if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you're changing the planet, come and join me on Straight Out of Savannah. And if you're not, go listen to it on any of the podcast streaming places, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple, Google, Listen Now, Radio Breaker, you name it, it is on the podcast platforms. So make sure that you go and follow me there as well. Also, trying to think. Yeah, I think that's about it. so I appreciate your time. Thank y'all for hanging out with me, and look forward to me tomorrow. And if you are on Facebook, come to hear me and my Ebony and Ivory partner, Megan Marie, talk about spiritual growth on Facebook tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Yeah, Wednesday. That's right. Okay. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank you for the gifts. I really appreciate all that you are and everything that you do. Also, continue to keep following me and check out my TikTok shop. So again, thank you for having a wonderful rest of your day. I hope everything works out well for you in this day and every day beyond. So thank you. Make sure you follow me for more. Thank you, Angie. I appreciate you.